This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex. That's my name in red. Don't wear it out. And that's the Ramble. That's in yellow. And it goes till midnight tonight. Lady, hey, look at that. Look at that. There's Steve Kravitz. There's Steve Kravitz. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Alex. How are you?
Stephen Kravitz, actually. You must be
Hey,
perfect.
what?
Huh?
What's going on?
What's going on? I'm saying I'm just Stephen Kravitz. You know?
Right.
Yeah. How
Hey,
you doing?
Ma.
How you doing?
I'm so good.
Now, when your mother used to chastise you,
Yes.
did she go Steve or did she go Stephen?
Stephen J. Kravitz.
You mean come over here, Stephen J. Kravitz?
Right.
Oh, okay. My mother used to.
Oh, no. She would just call me Stephen.
Oh, okay. It was never anything else.
No.
Oh, okay. Because with me it was Bolo.
Right.
Yeah, which I've told you before was my nickname as a kid. Bolo,
Right.
Don't do that. Bolo, stop it. Bolo, don't do it. You know. And then when
How'd you get that nickname again?
from my uncle, Boleslav. See I've told this story before, but it's worth telling again. That as Jews, you're supposed to name your child after a dead relative.
Right.
A really upbeat idea. I don't know where that came from.
Well, you're just supposed to use the first letter.
Is it the first letter? Because I heard
Right.
it was a name.
No. Like, I'm named after my great-grandfather, Samuel. So we take the S from Samuel and we come up with Stephen.
Well, Boleslav was my uncle's name. He died, I think, at 21. And so
wow.
they didn't want to name me Boleslav. I guess the Bennett came from using a B.
Right.
I never thought about that. I never knew that. Well, I learned something every day about my name.
There you go.
But anyway, they didn't want to. They just nicknamed me Bolo. All right, and it's fine. You know, I was fine with that. You know what I didn't put up here? I should put up.
What's that?
I forgot to put up your name so everybody will know.
No, I have it.
No, but I have it on the screen, on the big screen here.
Oh, okay.
So that it looks something like this. See, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. See, it says Stephen Kravitz. You don't see it because it's what I'm recording, you know.
Right.
Yeah, like you can't see this, can you?
Oh, sure, I can see it.
I see. Okay. Anyway, so how you been doing?
I've been doing all right. Happy New Year.
Yes, yes, it is Rosh Hashanah when we recorded this. A happy Rosh to you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what year it is?
Isn't it something like 57, 52 or something? Or
5783.
5783. I always just like to tell my friends, you know, when they go, "Oh, Jew boy," you know. Well, you know something what you don't like about us is we're from the future.
How do you figure?
Well, what's the year?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
5783.
Yeah, so we're from the future.
Now today's Yom Kippur.
Well, today when we're recording this.
Right.
Oh, well, listen, I better hang up on you. We're not supposed to be doing this on Yom Kippur. It's a high holy day.
I'm fasting.
Are you fasting?
Yes.
Really? I just had a
Yes.
I just had a banana. I forgot completely about fasting.
Right.
Yeah, but then again, I'd pass out if I had to fast. So you know. But anyway, so it's the high holy days for the Jews.
Right.
And it is again in that wonderful feeling of depression, like where you name your kids after a dead relative.
Right.
Yeah. Today is the day for two things: honoring the dead. There's a prayer for the dead called the Kaddish,
Right.
right? That they say in synagogues everywhere.
Right.
You know, come to think of it, I have Orthodox Jews are my landlords, so they probably won't come to try and get the rent today. Anyway, and the other thing is the Day of Atonement.
Right.
You're supposed to atone for your sins.
Right. For the last year.
Okay, so let's start atoning for our sin. What sin have you committed this year you want to atone for?
No, I don't really want to talk about it.
Ooh. Really? Really? Actually, it's something.
I'm kidding.
Okay. I mean, if you were like back in your 30s again, and you said I have to atone for some sins, I'd go, okay, I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Right.
You know, but at your age, come on. What? You know, you're selling hardware and home goods, right?
Right.
Right. That's your biggest sin.
Isn't that the truth?
And actually, you're working at a place that sells wholesale, so you're okay. You have not committed a Jewish sin.
No. Thank you for atoning for me.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
It's like you know what it's like. It's like today's supposed to be like confession.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it is a Jewish version of confession. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Except that we just do it once a year.
Yeah, and do we get absolved for atoning for our sins?
Yes. Yeah. If you do, yeah.
Okay, except for our mothers, who will always make us feel guilty.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Stephen, you shouldn't do that. You're going to go blind.
Isn't that the truth?
Can I do it till I need glasses? That's the old joke. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it worked.
Oh, you know, it did work too, because I don't do this much on the air, but there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Only these are filthy. I can't see through them. Here's some nicer ones, better ones. Are these filthy? No, this is less filthy. Which look better? Do you know which ones?
They both look good. The first one looked better.
Really, you like these better, huh? Because they look more like I'm wearing glasses. I'm not trying to thin them down or anything like that. Yeah.
Right.
So you've been working, and you're making a living. Well, not a living.
But not a living, but it subsidizes my living.
Yeah. And you enjoy it, don't you? You seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. I don't mind it. Oddly enough, I don't mind it. Although, from the second I walk through the doors to go to work, mm-hmm. I'm counting the minutes to when I'm going home.
Oh, I see. Well, that's not a good sign.
No.
But you're checking people out at
Lowe's.
I mixed that up with Home Depot, but they're the same kind of store, right?
Right, exactly. Almost identical.
So you could perhaps go to your boss and say, I want a raise. And he says, what makes you think you can get a raise? And you say, I've been given a better offer by Home Depot.
Well, then you know what they would say?
Yeah. Go
to Home Depot.
Go to Home Depot. Yeah. Is there a basic difference between Lowe's and Home Depot?
I think Home Depot rents also equipment, and I don't think we do.
Oh, okay. So you're just selling nuts and bolts and all that stuff, paint.
Right.
You know.
And appliances.
Appliances. Oh, appliances. Yeah. Does Home Depot sell appliances?
Yes.
They do. Okay. So, but Home Depot will, like, if I want a big ditch digger or something, I can rent it from them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You guys don't do that.
No.
Plus, would you imagine trying to check one of those things out? Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do it.
I don't have a price on the Caterpillar digger.
There's no barcode. There's no barcode on that pay lifter. What am I going to do?
So anyway, so I mean, you know, I would think that if I had to get a job doing something where I was dealing with the public like that, probably is more fun than a lot of other things you could do.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I have these guys in our building. They've been doing this for this has been going on for almost 2.5, maybe 3 years, in which they are pointing the building. What that is they go to it's a brick building, and they go between the bricks and they get the grout out, and then they put new grout in.
Right, you told me this.
On every brick in the building. This is a big building, okay?
Is that right? How many apartments?
I think there are 200 in this apartment house. But
Is that right?
Yeah, but they're huge. They're huge. You could take our apartment and chop it up into 2 apartments, which they tried to do with a couple of apartments in this building, just to make more money out of them. But they've been doing that for, I don't know, they've been doing it physically for about 1.5 years. Okay, the stuff that protects the building or protects the pedestrians from the work,
Right.
These things they put around. I call them homeless shelters because all the homeless people like to sit under them. Those have been up for about 3 years, close to that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. But anyway, they do that, and then whenever it rains, they can't do it. You know, and if it's snowing, they can't do it. And if, you know,
Right.
whatever reason, like they're not doing it today because it's been raining on and off.
Right.
But
Here too.
yeah.
It's been raining.
But that's a job I don't think I would want. They get up on these lifts, you know, and then they sit there drilling all day to get the grout out and then putting the grout in.
How many stories is the building?
This building's 8 stories. Yeah.
What floor are you on?
8th.
Oh, you're at penthouse.
Well, you could call it the penthouse. They don't call it the penthouse here.
What do they call it? The 8th floor.
The 8th floor. But we have different windows than the other apartments do. We have like big cathedral windows.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Well, look at me, looking back at me. Those are the
Yeah, I
windows. See? They're like cathedral windows.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, these are huge apartments, but all I'm saying is, to do that job, to be on that plank all day with some other guy, and you're drilling away, and you got to wear the mask not for COVID, but because you don't want to get all the dust in you.
Right.
And they're putting in the grout and everything, and they got to do that on every floor, on 4 sides of this building, inside the courtyard, and on the outside of the building they do the whole outside of the building. But imagine that, as opposed to at least dealing with people every day and checking them out at Lowe's.
Right.
You know,
Now, what is the reason they're doing this to your building?
Well, the reason they're doing it, I think, is they have to, by law. If it's gotten to a point where they say, hey, this building isn't safe anymore because the bricks might fall out and hit people.
Oh, I guess it's how many years?
Yeah, and I don't think this thing has been pointed, as they call it, or grouted, or, done. And I think since the building was made, I don't think it's been done.
What year is the building?
1900.
1900?
1900. This building's 120 years old. This apartment here is 120 years old. 122. Yeah. So there. My apartment's older than your apartment.
You're right. Mine was built in 1910.
Was it really?
Yeah.
So they're almost the children of each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yours is 1910.
Right.
What is it like? How many stories?
Just 4.
4 stories, and is
Right.
it like brick?
No.
Oh, okay. If it were brick, they'd have to point them. So. Anyway, supposedly they're going to be through by December, hopefully, because this place has been a mess for 3 years. If I showed you the courtyard, which is a pretty good-looking little courtyard,
Right.
it's been covered by this whole thing, you know, and there's dust everywhere, and it's noise all day long with the drilling and the, you know, so you know, I mean, you know, it's not easy, but that's the kind of job I wouldn't want.
Right.
You know, I think that would be hell. I would want to blow my brains out if I had to do that for more than 2 or 3
Well, I
days.
wouldn't want to be 8 stories up on the outside of a building.
Well, you know, that you get used to.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm a little, what's it called when you're afraid of heights?
Oh, I'm afraid of heights too. I wouldn't go up on one of those things either. But what I'm saying, if you're doing the job and you say, oh, you got to get on that thing, go up 8 floors, you go, okay, I'll learn how to go live with it. And once you do it, I think, even if I did it and I'm afraid of heights, if I did it a couple of times, I think I'd be used to it. So would you. What happens when you see heights? Like, I play video games, and there are heights, certain heights where you're like looking,
Right.
and I get queasy with that. And it's a video game. You know.
I feel like I'm going to fall.
Well, I get this thing that it's just whenever I see it, like even in a movie, if somebody's like hanging over a side of a, I get a little like agita in my stomach.
Is that right? A little knot in your gut?
Yeah, not in my gut. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, but now here's the question: you fly, right?
Oh, yeah.
You look out the window.
Right?
That doesn't bother you, does it?
No.
You know why it doesn't?
Why?
And why it does if you look over the edge of a building?
Why?
Because with the edge of a building, you see a line to the ground. In other words, the building. You look over and you see the side of the building, and it resolves in the ground. That scares you. When you're in an airplane, you're not attached to the ground. You know, you have no vision of the ground and how high up you are on it, because there isn't like you're not on top of a building. You get my drift on this? And that's why you don't get upset by looking out of the window of a plane. You don't believe me, do you?
No, because I believe you because it happens to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, everything you said, you know, is me. I mean, you know.
Logically, if you're afraid of heights and you look out of an airplane, you should be frightened, right?
Right.
But you aren't.
Right. No.
Because you don't see a straight line to the ground. That's, I think, that's the point I'm trying to make.
And you're strapped in. You're kind of like secure in your own little world.
Yeah, yeah.
And planes tend to stay up in the air.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
I don't know if you did this particular show. We did a supper Schwartzman at the Fairmont Hotel. Okay? And we flew up a whole bunch of advertisers from L.A. to be at this supper with Schwarzman. There's a promotion. You come on up, have dinner on us at the Fairmont Hotel, and then we'll fly you back to L.A., okay? So there were about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 advertisers that we did this with. And what happened was they were supposed to get on a plane, but it was late in taking off, so they got on another one. And they got up here. Had they taken that earlier plane, they would have all been dead. Because some guy tried to hijack the plane and rammed it into the ground. It was a famous crash, actually, in California, aviation history. But they were on the plane after it because we redid the flight arrangements.
Right, the bookings.
So we saved their lives. But I mean, it scared the living daylights out of us, because when that happened, we went, if they went on the plane they were supposed to get on, they'd all be dead now. And then we'd be known as the radio station that killed us advertisers.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't bode well, does it?
Oh, that doesn't pay the bills.
No. Do you ever get frightened flying at all?
Not yet.
Is there any point during the flight where you're maybe a little apprehensive? Because you've flown a lot, because you're a comedian and you're an actor, and they fly you around and so on.
Right. And I lived in Europe, too.
Right. Well,
So I flew across the ocean a couple of times.
What I always do is I count to 45 as the plane is taking off.
Why is that? Why 45?
Let me explain it to you.
All right, I'm listening.
Planes, when they crash, the majority of the time that they have their accident happens on takeoff. In other words, they take off and they crash, right? And it takes place usually 45 seconds before you're up in the air. So if you make it past 45 seconds, your chances of having this plane crash are almost zero.
Right.
So I count to 45. And if I'm not dead by 45,
it's all good.
It's all good from there on in, So, but that's one of my little things. I count to 45 as the plane is taking off. And let me see here. Anything else? Nothing else really gets me. A landing doesn't bother me at all.
No.
All I really like to see and feel is how good the pilot is at landing that plane. So he kind of, as they describe it, paints the plane on the runway.
Right.
And my nose is, I'm dripping. Oh God! Hold on a second. Got to get some tissues here. No. This is certainly great broadcasting, isn't it? Hold on a second. I'm going to turn off my sound. It's that time of the year when my nose starts dripping.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's getting cold down here.
It's getting cold here.
Look at me. I'm wearing my sweatshirt. You're wearing a thing there, right? You do.
A thing. That's right. That's what it's called, a thing.
I know you don't have air conditioning in your apartment, but you do have heating, don't you?
No.
What? No, come on. Tell me that isn't true.
Well, there's a heater, but it's not sufficient.
Okay, what is it? Is it a radiator?
No.
No, it's just a heater.
Right.
Is it one you bought or one they bought?
No. There's one that's built into that's the heat for the apartment.
My God, in New York City, a landlord at 55 degrees has to turn the heat on. And it has to be sufficient heat to keep the apartment warm.
Right, but that's an apartment. This is like a house.
Okay, but it's being rented out as an apartment, isn't it?
Right.
Well, there should be some rules about them having to, But then again, you're worried about being thrown out of there, aren't you?
Well, I got a letter from them, and they want to raise the rent $300 a month.
What? Can they do that?
I think so.
Well, apparently they can because they are.
Right. But yet they haven't done anything to the apartment. I haven't even met these people.
Yeah. But I mean, all of a sudden, arbitrarily $300, isn't there a limit to how much they can raise rent on an apartment per year?
Well, you gotta figure this is a pretty big 2-bedroom. Okay. So $1,300 a month is actually reasonable for it.
Oh, so you're only paying $1,000 now.
Right.
Can you make the $1,300?
If I get more hours at Lowe's.
Will they give you more hours at Lowe's?
I hope so. Although I buggered out on them today. I went into work.
Yeah.
And I'm fasting and shit. And I kind of went, I should not be working today.
Well, you can use the Jew out on that one.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I only worked for an hour today.
Oh, okay. By the way, this is not being broadcast on Rosh Hashanah, folks, but he used his Jew out to get out.
My Jew out.
Yeah, and what do? Just tell him I'm Jewish and it's Rosh Hashanah and I have to get home.
I don't get bored, but thanks for playing.
Oh man, oh man. Oh, what we Jews will do to get out of work. Anyway,
Okay.
hey, listen, good talking to you again.
We're done, huh?
You look all bundled up. Yeah, we're done. We're done. You know, so, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
And that's our good friend Steve Kravitz, and he's with us about every Thursday, actually, and so it's been pretty good. I look better today. Here's what I looked at this. I want to see how good this camera was looking because I've kind of tweaked it differently. Okay, so it maybe looks a little better. All right, and so I was checking that out after the show and looking at, and then all of a sudden I noticed with this shirt, this sweater, there was all kinds of little white dots here. There was like dandruff on it. So but I'm doing this now before I go on, and make it better. But anyway, we're sitting around waiting for people to start calling, and there's nobody really starting to call. There's one guy waiting, and he's somebody who we love and adore, and there's a good friend, so we'll just admit him. What the hell, and let me see here. I'm going to go to Zoom, and there we go, and there he is. That's Jeff Stein, ladies and gentlemen. That's Jeff Stein. How you doing, Jeff?
Good.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing fine. I did better yesterday than I've been doing. I've been feeling a little better. I stopped taking my pills.
Hey, I know that.
Yeah, and I feel better. I feel happier and up, and I feel like I could go the whole hour without feeling like, oh boy, am I tired, But I don't know what I'm going to do if I stop taking the pills long enough. I might start needing them again. So who knows? But anyway, nobody else is calling, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I lost my my watch today.
Really? What kind of watch is it?
An Apple Watch.
Oh, it's an Apple Watch. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
It's got to be somewhere in the
Okay,
house.
do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you can ping it using the
Yeah.
iPhone. So did you ping it?
No, I'm having a couple of problems figuring out what to do. They got 27 different questions
What do you mean 27 different questions?
as to which one you have and which one you
No.
don't have.
No. On your iPhone, you
Yeah.
simply go to, wait a minute, hold on a second. Here comes Alan. Let me see here. You go to your, what do you call it? Your settings, right? That thing, little gear-like thing you got there?
Yeah.
Settings. And then you go to, let me see here. I'm trying to remember now where we do it. I forgot. I forgot. Go to, type in at the top, find my, and it should say, find my iPhone. All right? Okay.
Am I in settings right now?
Yeah. Now it should.
Does this look right?
Let me see here. That's not what I wanted.
It's the wrong.
I just want find
What are
my.
you trying to
Here.
do?
Hit find my. Yeah. We're trying to get his phone to ping. Oh well. Find my phone is on. Does it say find my phone is on?
Which one is settings?
It's the little gray thing with
The gear.
the spoke and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
gear.
I
Yeah.
got this other circle thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can see. Here's what I can do with how I can find the phone. Is I can do it with my. If you had your watch, you could find your phone because you just go up here, and then you go to the phone and you push this. Hear that? So
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah, with the watch, I can find my phone anywhere in the house, and they changed this bell so it really listen to that. Yeah.
I can't find the
I can't
damn
hear it either,
settings.
Jeff.
Yeah, find my. Oh, I know where it is. Here, just just go to Find My on your desktop. Okay. You see that Find My? You see
I'm writing it in there. Find
My, yeah,
F-I-N-D.
yeah, F-I-N-D, My,
Me.
M-Y, yeah,
Find my.
yeah. It's actually it is a what do you call it, an icon on your
Okay.
desktop, but
So I find my phone.
yeah, and then you go over to devices.
Yeah, but don't I want to go to my wrist watch or something like that
No,
first?
no, because you don't know where your watch is. You're trying to find your watch, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Find my watch.
Well, it says my Apple Watch is now 0 miles. Okay, Alex's watch, and then I can play a sound on my on my watch, and here we go. Come on, it's playing sound, but I don't hear it.
I hear it. It's Havana.
There we go.
No, I don't.
Boy, that's not much of a.
I can't hear it.
Says,
That's not much of a sound.
no, I don't hear anything.
Okay. Anyway, do you see where it says there, devices?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Yep. This is great programming.
Oh, this is fun, right?
You know,
Let's not do this.
Yeah.
Come on, this is no fun for you guys.
Anyway, that's the way you do it.
Let's,
What?
Can I ask what you're trying to do, Jeff?
He's trying to find his watch.
my
Okay.
watch.
Wait, but you're trying to use your phone to find the watch, right?
Yeah.
Do you have blue? Do you have? I can walk you through this real quick.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Okay, I want to hear this one. This is the blind leading the blind. Go ahead.
Okay,
we
so
go.
if you go to settings, can you open settings? Oh,
No, you don't need settings, but you don't need settings.
oh, you don't?
There
Oh,
is a app on your top of your phone that's called Find My. Do you
Not
see
on
it
my
there at all? It has like, it looks like it has a circle with like, it almost looks like a radar screen. Is the
Oh, really?
is the icon? Yeah, and it says Find My.
Find. F-I-N-D.
Yes, right. Yeah.
I don't have it either, Jeff.
Is Pamela around?
No. No, she's asleep.
Did you lose
Find
your?
my
Find My.
watch.
Oh
Should say, right?
no, Find My. It's an icon that says Find My.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, click on it.
I did.
Okay, what do you get? You get a map and stuff, right?
It said find my phone,
Yeah,
which is one of them.
yeah. But
don't want that, though.
Find My, if you go to devices, you see where it says devices on the bottom? There are a bunch of different things. One says devices.
Yeah, I'm looking, but I don't see that.
Oh, okay. Well, it should be
I
there.
see like there's a lot of alternates.
See, it says
video.
it says people, and then it says devices, and then on the
At
very,
the very
bottom.
bottom of the screen is what it's
Devices.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
click on devices.
Hit that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now see where it says iPhone?
Okay.
See where it says iPhone? Hmm? Follow along at home, folks. This is a game you can all play. You know.
That's right.
No, but you just
Find me.
look at
Find
this.
my.
Look, see, there's a whole list there. You see that?
And then there's a list,
There's
right?
a list right here, right
Apps.
here. Well, it says devices. No, what
Yeah,
have
but
you
mine
got?
looks like this.
What is that? No, that's not what we're looking for. No, you're. Oh, well, forget it.
He's on Google.
Yeah, I'm not. You just got to go to Find My, and then you click on that, and then you go to Devices. Along the bottom, there's several things. People, and then Devices is the second one. And then you hit that, and then you go to phone, and then you tell it to ring the phone. Right? Oh, well. Anyway. Here, Brian Neary will help us, I'm sure.
Yeah. Tell you what.
What?
Tomorrow I'll go across the street to the service place and they'll fix it in 10 seconds.
What do you mean
Across
they'll
the
fix
street.
it? They got to find your phone. It's back at your house.
Well, they'll do it.
Is it in your house somewhere?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. Well, if I were there, I could get it to ring. And hi there, Brian.
Hello.
So far, is this a good show so far?
Yeah, I wanted to call in before you guys got off this topic.
How's your wife today?
Oh, do you see? Sorry. Do you see this?
Oh,
I see it. It's different.
See this? Okay.
Yeah.
Ambiance back, and I made her happy today. So
Oh, there's a desk behind you, a
You
white desk.
always want to keep the wife
And the
happy.
keyboard got moved or whatever that thing is. Oh, isn't that nice?
You always want to keep the
trouble is
wife
The
happy.
monitor blocks the Ferrari sign. I mean, you got to pull the Ferrari sign over the monitor.
I need to get rid of that Ferrari and get my McLaren sign.
Oh, okay. Why
Ferraris
you can't afford a Ferrari?
Exactly. they are a big jump.
Yeah, I had a friend who had a Ferrari. He also had one of those Diablos, the
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini Diablo. Yeah, that was the most uncomfortable car I ever rode in my life. I think I've told you this before. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Anyhow, Brian got on while we're on the subject of find your phone or
Yeah.
find your device.
Well, listen, it's a sad day today.
Oh,
Yeah.
Trump's still alive.
Hmm?
Trump is still alive.
You know, the whole world does not revolve around Trump. Although to ask him, it does. But, no, it doesn't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
Well, now I'm not going to tell you. So, I'm going to be snippy about this now because you had to jump in with your little, is it Trump?
People getting out for minor marijuana.
Well, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. But, it's just people that had to join. He should have also pardoned people who sold as well. Because here in New York, if you sold, you get one of the first licenses to open up a store. So, I mean, I wish I'd been a dealer all those years now. I wish I'd spent some time in jail. I'd be pardoned now, What the heck? All those years of trying to pursue a profession that only made me a meager amount of money,
I thought a pardon was only good for federal crimes.
Yes, this is federal.
Okay, so if you got arrested for selling marijuana
Locally, but he's asking the states to try and change their laws
okay.
as well.
I missed that part.
But he can't. All he can do is federal. He can't.
Right.
He can't do anything else.
That's right.
No, it's a sad day today.
Oh, why?
Huh?
Why?
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah.
Before you were so willing to jump in and give me reasons why it was a sad day today.
Singular, one reason. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it seems as though a childhood friend of mine is no more.
Wow.
No more a friend or passed away?
Is no longer going to be in existence. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a radio station in San Francisco called KGO.
Boom. Man, I should have got that one.
Now, as long as I've been alive, there's been a KGO.
Oh, you're telling me KGO's gone?
It's gone.
Well, they're gonna change format though, right? They're still gonna be there.
But they're not gonna use the same name, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
KGO is News Talk.
Which is no. It was News Talk for a while, then it went Talk again. It had been Talk for 30 years prior to that, where it was #1 in the Bay Area for all of those 30 years.
I'm thinking of KCBS. Sorry.
Yeah, because you're always wrong. Anyway, and KCBS, what did its call letters used to be?
KCBS.
Nope.
I don't know what.
KQW. And what's the significance of KQW?
It became KCBS.
No, there's an argument. It was out of San Jose originally. And there was an argument as to whether KDKA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was the first radio station or KQW in San Jose. The first ever radio station. Okay, but anyway, KGO, I used to work in a building where my father used to work. He used to work playing in orchestras at what was then the NBC station, KPO. Get it? KPO? And on the top floor of the building was KGO. And these two stations represented the red and blue networks. Never heard about those, did you? And the big building there that is still there at Mason and O'Farrell, I think, was the, am I right about that? Yeah, was the red and blue networks and NBC. And they opened it up, and I think it was 1938, maybe, 37, as Radio City San Francisco. You had Radio City New York, you had Radio City Los Angeles, Hollywood, and you had Radio City San Francisco, and that was it. And it was KGO and KPO, and they were in that same building. So, and as long as I've been alive, those when I first was born, those two stations were there and in that building. And as the years have gone on, of course, KPO became became KNBC, and then when they wanted to give that designation to their station in LA, they changed it to KNBR. Okay, but KGO always remained KGO, and what's so significant about KGO is those call letters are 3 letters. There are very few stations that are 3 letters. I think there's I'm trying to think if there are any here in New York.
There's one in New York. There's one in New York. And
one in New York. WOR.
Yeah.
WOR, yeah. So if KGO gives up that call sign, that will be the end of a very important call sign that was only 3 letters. You know, and what I hate is, this is like Cumulus Radio, and they have absolutely no sense of history, you know? Because if they had a sense of history, they say, well, we're going to change it to a new format, but we're not going to change the name of the station. You know, we're not going to get rid of the call letters, but they're going to get rid of them. The station for 30 years was, or 31 years, I think, was the #1 station in San Francisco for every single consecutive ratings book. And then all of a sudden, one day, they weren't anymore. And the reason they weren't anymore is because they changed the way they rated stations. In those days, you used to put it down in a diary. You have to write down every quarter hour what you were listening to. Well, who does that? You know, they do it for about the first 3 hours. And then after that, you just before you go to bed, you just fill it all in, you know. Then what do you fill it in with? Well, the station you know the most. And that was KGO. That didn't mean KGO was #1. It was just the methodology played to them, okay? But then all of a sudden they went to what they call people meters. And these are little meters people walk around with, and it senses what you're listening to. So you can't really lie or procrastinate. It just says what people are listening to. And the minute that happened, KGO wasn't #1 anymore. And so all of a sudden they became panicky and they didn't know what to do. And they went to, they changed to, I think it was All News. And that didn't work. So then they went back to News Talk. And that was too late to try and revive that. And for the last, I don't know how long, they've been like the 30th station in the market. And so finally Cumulus decided we're going to pull the plug on it. What they're going to do is they're going to sports bet programming. Now, you know, that there was a time when you couldn't even talk about betting on radio. And now they're doing sports bet radio. You know, so it's sad. It's really sad, and I'm sad about it. I'm not grieved about the radio station itself because they were a bunch of pricks when I was doing my show in San Francisco, because they were doing everything they could to undermine me, because I was getting pretty good numbers in the morning, and nothing like they were getting. But they did things like, say, if somebody came to town and they wanted to be on my show, they had to be on KGO first. And if they didn't do KGO first, then they couldn't do KGO. And so what would happen is, since I was doing a morning show, if you didn't do my show first, Their first show at 10 o'clock in the morning was the first show they could have guests on. So they would wait around for that, but they weren't going to stay overnight in San Francisco just to do Alex's show. So I got robbed of a lot of guests because of this nastiness that they were doing, you know. And I hated them for it. Just hated them for it. And that scumbag Ron Owens, him too, you know. He was leading the charge on that. We've got to have a guest before Alex. You know.
Were most radio stations 3 letters originally?
Would you turn down your microphone a little bit? Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Were most stations 3? That I don't know, to tell you the truth. I do know, well, no, the first radio station in America was KDKA.
Is that better on the microphone?
Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway.
Okay, because the radio station I listened to as a kid, the very first one was called KYA.
Well, KYA was another one in San Francisco that had 3 letters. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And in those days, you could, I think if you wanted to change call letters and stuff, you could change it to a 3 call letter call.
Huh.
But then after a while, they all had to have 4. And the reason they had to have 4 is if you did 3, eventually you'd run out of call letters. If you do 4, it takes a lot longer to run out of call letters. So,
Right.
you know. But now, a good trivia question. KDKA is on the East Coast, and all radio stations that start with K are to the west of the Mississippi, and to the east of the Mississippi, they all start with W's. Okay. Canada is C. Mexico is X. Okay.
So why the split in the middle of the country?
I don't know. They just decided that was what they're going to do. But there was one station on the East Coast that started with K. And I just said what it was, KDKA, because it was the first radio station.
Right.
There was one that was W that was west of the Mississippi, and they did it because to accommodate the town it was in. Anybody want to guess? I'll give you.
Washington?
I'll give you a hint. It's in Texas. WACO, Waco, Texas, and they gave it to them. But otherwise, that's the way the call letters were sent out and everything. But anyway, this long-time tradition of a station where I used to visit it when I was a kid because my father would play there, and I'd go there to meet with him and pick him up, and go out and have some beef jerky over at the Musicians Union bar, which is down the street. So anyway.
And hanging out with your dad so much, you never picked up any instruments? It never interested you, music?
I tried to learn instruments. I wanted to please my father, and he wanted me to be able to play an instrument. I think if nothing more for the kind of the what do we call it? The
camaraderie with
not the camaraderie.
guy.
No, but there's a certain kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm bad at words tonight. Again, I don't know why. Last night I was in great shape. Okay. A certain kind of thing that makes you learn how to do something and to excel at it and work at it and so on. It doesn't mean that you're going to use that instrument to earn a living, but it teaches you certain, things.
Like disciplines or
Discipline, that's the word I was looking for. God, I'm losing all sense of the English language. Anyway, yeah, it gives you discipline. So he tried to first he tried to teach me the violin, and because he was a violinist, he bought me a baby violin, about this big. All right, and I just plunked on it. I didn't. So finally, he got me a regular violin. Tried to teach it to me, but nah, I wasn't going to go for the violin. So then I decided, hey, trombone might be a good idea. Because it's fun. It goes back and forth like this, right? And then the only thing that intrigued me about the trombone was the spit valve. Are you familiar with the spit valve?
Of course, down at the bottom, yes.
Yeah, because you play and you get a lot of spit in the trombone slide, and you got to get rid of the spit. So you then open up the spit tap there, and
Yeah.
And I love that. I love to play enough so I had enough spit to come pouring out of that thing. Yeah.
That's always pretty if they don't empty the spit valve because it blows out on everybody.
Yeah, but I didn't. I really didn't. I really didn't learn an instrument. I learned how to play a little bit of piano, and I was very musical. I mean, if you asked me to hum a song, I never was out of tune. I had pretty much perfect pitch, and I had everything it would take to be a musician, except for the discipline. I just couldn't. I didn't. For instance, I didn't want to hold a violin like this for hours at a time. I don't know how my father did it. And he had on his chin, he had ingrown hairs right here. Every violinist I ever had a girlfriend was a violinist. She had the same thing. You get a callus right here from where you put it under your chin, right? And it's funny. The guy who lives in the apartment, if I point this way, right next to us. Sells violins, and I went up there and he took me around and said, "Come on in here." And he unlocked this door that he had locked with a combination, and we went in. And then he went into a safe that he had to go in with another combination, and he pulled out 3 violin cases and he opened them up, and he said, "You know what these are?" And I said, "No." He said, "These are Stradivariuses." You would think it would be called Stradivarii, but no, they're Stradivariuses. And I said, he says, "Here, you want to pick one up?" I said, "Yeah, sure." He said, "Let me pick one up." And I put it under my chin. And he said, "You do that perfectly. How do you know to do that?" And I said, "I watch my father do it every day of my life." And I said, if he were alive today, I'd be calling him right after I leave here and saying, "Guess what I had under my chin today?" It was a 10. Wait, what was it? It was, I think, a $750,000 Stradivarius. Amazing, just wonderful.
Love it. We got your voice, but you are
frozen.
I'm frozen. Oh, I'm frozen. Yeah. Well, I can take care of that.
At least you got a smile on your face.
Yeah, you're smiling. You're very happy.
Well, that's good. I don't know why this happens occasionally, but it does. And when it does, I know how to handle it. I can simply go up here to video. I then turn it to another thing here. I turn it to my old, let's say, virtual camera. See that, folks? Yep. And then I go back to the camera here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Well, it's not doing it.
It just says no camera now.
It says no camera now? Oh, wait a minute.
With some kind of devil worship symbol above it.
Oh, boy. Usually I can do this. Usually I have
Jews for Christianity.
I have no problem with it. Let me see.
It's like a motorcycle.
Video. Pro. Okay. What if I do a little Logitech? Well, there we do that. But that's my other.
Wow.
That's my other thing. Let me see.
That looks like a filter on TikTok.
Let me see here. What
that's cute.
why is this not? Why is this not doing it? God bless
You
it.
look fine right there. That's good.
Yeah,
Huh?
leave it. You're fine.
Oh, I'm fine? Yeah, right. Yeah, well, this is ridiculous. Let me see here. Epocam. Let me see here. If I could then do here with the kind.
Your hair's fine, Brian.
There we go. No.
That's the 4th time since we've been on tonight that you play with your hair. You're lucky. I got no hair to play with.
I can't unfreeze myself. I cannot unfreeze myself.
Adrian draws me like this all the time.
Let me see here. Let me pull this.
Mohawk.
Let me pull
I have a reverse mohawk.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
I'll screw you too, Jeff. You got a full head of hair.
There we go. I think we're going to be okay now.
Fuller than mine, that's for sure.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't get.
Was Alex still on the show? Oh.
Huh? Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Well, his picture disappeared.
We have our own conversation.
Let me see here.
He's over on the other side.
There we go.
There you
You're
go.
there. You're
But
fine.
now I don't. But I don't know why my
Light.
this
Your light.
isn't. Huh? No.
What about your lights?
I've got the light on, but I turn.
does it?
Oh, there. They go there. Oh wait, I know what I'll do.
That's better.
I know what I'll do. Here we go.
But it's
Here we
kind of
go.
a little color, different change color.
You your skin is not as washed out, but the room is darker.
I don't know. There's something really wrong with this today. I don't know. I give
And
up.
Phil's
okay.
not even on the show.
Wait a minute.
Nobody's watching tonight anyway. So okay.
Wait a minute. This is ridiculous. Okay. What is this? I got this razor. Yeah. I do this, and it'll go boom, 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 and then
No, you're so tall.
yeah. Then we go here, and we go to this, and for some reason, this is. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Hey, I told you the lights. Yeah.
Hey,
Did we lose people? No, we didn't lose anybody, but we didn't get them either. Let me see here. Let me just do this a little bit. There we go. Okay.
My violin story was so my grandfather came over here when he was a child, and he played semi-pro ball for the Oakland Oaks,
Yeah.
and he was Italian parents and all Italian family, and they said, no, there's no money in baseball. You are playing the violin. So they made him drop baseball to play the violin. His best friend went on to play with the Dodgers and was like in the World Series and all stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
and he didn't do anything with the violin, but the family, Italian families, you got to learn the, back then all the Pacific Coast League, all Italian. So
You know what those work good for? If you don't like using them anymore, they kill spiders on the wall real quick.
violins.
Yeah, sure, they're flat on the one side. And if you're lucky, you break it in half, and then you go into baseball.
What?
Batter up.
Son of a bitch. So how long was I frozen there?
You're just frozen for a couple seconds.
Oh,
There.
I see. Okay.
I want to mention it.
Yeah.
Two.
I mean, I can fix it, but usually it fixes easier than it.
yeah.
There's a little more
Yeah.
trouble today for some reason.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
I don't know
This
why
is
it even
really
freezes.
good.
I have no idea.
Why don't they make Coca-Cola that doesn't have the fake sugar in it and make it taste like the real sugar without the calories? It's the second Coke I've had in a month. I'm not a big soft drink.
What do you mean? What's your question?
This Coke tastes really good.
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot of sodas. I can't stand the diet flavor stuff. This has sugar. It's 140 or 160 calories. Why can't they make diet that has no calories and tastes this good?
They do. Coke Zero is pretty much as good as regular Coke.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'll have to try it. Most of the diet sodas that I've had.
You haven't tried Coke Zero?
No, I haven't.
Well,
but
then
I will.
then try that and you'll see.
Okay, I'll try it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing it. Adding it to my
That's
list.
the answer to your question.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck again, right?
No.
That was
I just thought I'd fake you out on that one, But anyway, I don't know why. Usually this freezes maybe once a week or something like that, and I don't understand why. Because it doesn't have anything to do with my CPU or anything like that. Everything's good, and it just causes a problem. So anyway, getting back to the radio stations, I mean, I just feel so bad about this. Not that I loved KGO as people; they were terrible, horrible people. They had a general manager over there who was a piece of shit.
But you keep saying that there's no radio and that radio is going to be gone, satellite's going to be gone. I mean, is this just the progression of that?
I think you're probably seeing the end of radio. Yeah, and it's sad because radio does have a place, but it's just that everybody's just their ability to listen to stuff has changed as to where they're listening to it, and they're just not listening to it any longer on regular over-the-air broadcasting. They're going to podcasts, except this one. I mean, look, I only got 4 people tonight. Look at this.
You know,
No, you have three. There's 3. Plus you was 4.
3 is 4. Yeah.
KGO has a transmitter that's been there since I was a kid. As you're going towards the Dumbarton Bridge, or
Yeah.
coming away
Yeah.
right north of the highway there's the transmission towers. says
It's a-
KGO. It's been there since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a 50,000 watt station, which is
Wow.
a very powerful station. You
Yeah,
know,
wow.
that's what they call a clear channel station.
Mhm.
Clear channel stations were stations that were protected at night, so that they could go 50,000 watts at night, and you could pick up KGO almost on the East Coast. Okay,
I can pick it up when I'm in LA.
Yeah.
At night.
but what they did is they had stations. I worked at one or two stations that were daytimers. I don't know if they even exist anymore. I think they kind of changed all that, but they were daytimers, and what they were doing is they were protecting someone else's frequency, because at night signals travel differently than they do during the day. During the day they use what's called a ground wave, and at night radio uses a sky wave, and so signals can go further. So if I had just 5,000 watts, let's say, I could travel further at night than I could during the day. But if I were at, what was KGO? I think it was 810. If I were at 810, I had to sign off at sunset so that I would not interrupt KGO's signal. So, yeah. And so we had
Yeah,
to,
I mean, ever since I was a kid, there's a little shack and some huge antennas, and I Googled it one time that says it's KGO's transmission tower.
well, they're all over the Bay Area. I mean, for various
so
radio
what I know of.
stations. Yeah, and they're usually in flatlands. AM
Well, I also-
stations are in flatlands. FM stations are on mountains.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know. I didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
so the stuff on Mount Sutro
Mhm.
in San Francisco.
Those are
yeah,
TV stations.
Oh, are they? Okay.
They're TV stations, but I think there are a few FM stations up there too.
A friend of mine lives right under the tower on a road that goes around
Mhm. Yeah.
it, and they had to, in order to get cable TV into his house, the cable TV is the cable is this thick with all the shielding around it to get him to have service
Mm-hmm.
because he's that close to all these transmission stuff.
Wow. Wow.
So Alex, somebody just posted on the message board. I don't mean to break this on here, but yeah, Judy Tenuta passed away.
Did she really?
Yeah, 72.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did
I know
I?
you-
And it said, did I know her? Yes, I knew
You did.
Judy
I know
quite
you knew her,
quite
yeah.
well. Yeah.
And Emo Phillips, right? Emo Phillips.
Well,
was-
they used to go
Still alive.
together. They used to
They
go
used to go
together.
together. And they were hilarious together. I saw Emo by himself one time, and I saw them together.
But did it say what?
Emo-
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't. I don't see anything on here what says, but
Who is she?
72. Wow.
Hmm.
When you start getting older, you don't realize these people that were a little bit older than you, and then they're older. That's crazy.
Well, how old was she? Did it say 72?
72. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well,
A
yeah.
youngster.
She was a funny comedian.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
Who else did
Finally
I?
found out who she was. Okay, good.
Who else did I see died? Don Imos's what do you call it? Second in command on these shows.
The lady?
McGurk or something was his name. I never listened to Imus, so but he died. He died at like I think very young, like 62, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
They just had something. It was like a channel 2 in the morning, like on Saturday morning,
Mhm.
and they showed this is the San Francisco, the comedy. What's the comedy award? The San Francisco comedian
Oh, you mean the comedy day?
comedy competition. The comedy
Oh,
competition
oh.
winner. San Francisco comedy competition winner, and they had the guy there and his name, and I had no idea who the guy was. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
yeah.
And what's going to happen? What happens with those competitions, with the comedy competition, is it was always never a precursor of whether you were going to be a star or not.
Mhm.
Like Robin Williams was in it
Mhm.
and came out number 2. You
Who
know,
was number 1 that year?
I'm
You
trying to
know?
remember his name now. I used to know it, but I don't remember it, and neither will you because he's totally not memorable. Yeah. But people who come in second, third, they do okay.
Mhm.
But I never liked the comedy competition. I thought it was just horrible, and I thought it was horrible for just the reason that I don't consider being a comedian a competition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just because one competes against another, and then audience says, I like him better than the other one, doesn't mean that he's good. You know, I mean, you know who always used to do well in the comedy competition? Prop comics. Comedians would come out with props. You know,
The Amazing Jonathan.
or do musical parodies. Or you could win if you screamed. If you really scream, here's how you really made it in the business. If you were a comedian who screamed, you immediately rose to the top because nobody wanted to follow you, because you spoiled the room. You turn the room. There's a way in which you kind of turn the mood of the room. And if you're a screamer, I'm sorry, you know, it's all over. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Any famous screamers?
Oh yeah, Bob Goldthwait was a screamer.
Bob, that's right. That's right.
Did you say Gilbert Gottfried?
Gilbert just had a high voice. You know, I mean, he was. I don't know if I'd call him a screamer. What's his name?
Sam Kinison was the most.
Sam
famous.
Kinison was a screamer. Yeah, absolutely. Girl I went out with once was a screamer. I remember that.
Only one.
Yeah. But I mean, what's his name? Black, Louis Black. Louis Black. When I first had Louis Black on my show, well, he reminded me that he had been on my show back years ago when I was at Live One. I think maybe when I was still at the Quake, or maybe it was when I was at Live 105, and he didn't scream at that time. I didn't remember him because he didn't scream. And he said he just learned one day to start just being, you know, being mad. He's kind of mad at the world, right? And scream, and that's what he says. That's when I got noticed. That's what it took to get me to be noticed. He said, in fact, some comedian said, if you just scream, you'll probably get noticed more. And he said it was right, and he said I became a success. I love Louis. Louis is terrific, you know. But so Judy Tenuta dead. They're all going, you know.
She used to have the accordion, and then when she would do a punchline, she would hit that thing hard. It's so funny.
Yeah. She was brilliant.
Really good timing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love Emo. I mean, he's still alive, of course, but yeah, I love Emo. I mean, was he that sort of offbeat, like 24/7?
No, when I would sit down with Emo, like I think one day, if I remember correctly, I would either corner him at a party, or I think he came over to my apartment once, and we'd sit down and talk. Politically, he was a conservative, and he would just talk like you and I are talking right now. And then when he'd go on the air, it was I can't even do Emo, you know. But Emo was, I think, one of the most intelligent comics, and his comedy was very intelligent comedy. I mean, he had this weird, strange character he played, but the stuff that came out of him was just pure brilliance. I remember one line that I think exemplifies what I'm saying. Is that he said, I saw a sign on the beach. I'm not going to try and do his voice. And it said, no glass allowed. And he said, I wondered why. And then I suddenly thought, maybe the sand is jealous of the glass because it's on a higher evolutionary scale than it is. Now, is that a brainy joke or what?
Yeah.
Because all glass comes from sand.
Right.
And I'm going, oh my God, you know, this is not a stupid person's act, you know? Jay Sullivan. Who's Jay Sullivan? Jim Sullivan. Do we know Jim Sullivan? Let's see if we know Jim Sullivan. Have we seen Jim Sullivan before? Are you there, Jim? Jim?
Are we going to get some porn?
Or are we going to get some porn? Hello, Jim. Are you there? Are you there, Jim? Well, if Jim isn't there, then I'm going to get rid of Jim. Okay?
Thank you.
Huh? Goodbye, Jim.
He'd say when he sees his dog drinking out of the out of the toilet. I'm going to butcher the joke, but he says his dog, when he sees his dog, drinking water out of the toilet, it makes him laugh really hard. He says, especially when he's still sitting on it, But he says it in a way that, oh my God.
But he was a brilliant comedian.
His delivery and the joke, man, made you really think, and then it would hit you.
He was a comedian who told me. I said to him, so where do you live? He said, out of a suitcase. I said, well, what do you mean out of a suitcase? He said, well, I keep all my stuff at my manager's apartment in New York, but I don't have an apartment. He said, I'm on the road so much that I just stay in one hotel after another. He says, why do I need to have an apartment? You have to clean up an apartment. He said, I don't have to clean up a hotel room. And he said, so I have all my stuff that I need to store at my manager's place. And otherwise, I'm traveling from one hotel to another as I do my act. Well, here's a trivia question. Do any of you know who I'm talking about when I talk about Emo Phillips? Brian does.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've heard him being performed.
Yeah.
But I think it's only once. But I remember him being very good.
Yeah. But anyway, here's the thing about Emo. What movie did he write?
Oh my God.
Blow your mind when I tell you. What? Oh, there you go. What do you keep? Do you keep every ticket of every comedy show you went to?
I used to. You don't have any tickets anymore.
Yeah. They don't make tickets anymore.
Camel Jams came out.
Yeah.
They said ovarian cancer was Judy.
Really? Oh boy. Yeah.
So this was October 19th. Wow, it's almost October 19th. October 19th, 1991.
Wow.
At, what the heck? Oh, Cobb's Comedy Club.
Okay. Anyway, no, movie he wrote, Meet the Parents.
Really?
Wow. And produced it.
Wow.
And I think he produced the sequel too. I don't know if he wrote the sequel, but he wrote the I think he wrote Meet the Parents. Yeah, I know he produced Meet the Parents.
Meet the Fockers.
Yeah. Well, the first picture was called Meet the Parents, right? Or was it Meet the Fockers? No. I don't remember. But anyway, whatever that picture was,
I was sick last week, and I listened to the show. And one question you had, and it sort of stumped you, was you said, you were talking to Bubbles. You were trying to figure out where Rooster T. Feathers was, the city.
It was as I remember it. It was in one of the sands.
Yeah, almost Sunnyvale.
Sunnyvale. Oh, it wasn't Sunnyvale.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, that isn't a sand, is it?
No, but it's in between a bunch of sands.
I forget a lot of stuff lately. It's amazing, I mean, like I'm trying to remember. I think it was called Meet the Parents was the first one with De Niro and Stiller and so on.
I think the second one was Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, Meet the Fockers was the second one. And
I think you're right.
Yeah, but anyway, but some good comics, but they're all dying. I hear about another one dying, and it's why it's kind of weird is because comedians have a tendency to live longer than most other professions because they can go to work every day and they can continue going to work for years and years and years and years. But I'm really surprised to hear about Judy. Why does anybody get ovarian cancer today? Don't they get it and they can just take out the ovaries and that's it? Or they just don't catch it in time?
Don't catch it in time.
Yeah? Is that the story?
I'm not going to read these, but you can Google, people can Google Emo Phillips quotes, and they have a whole bunch of his quotes.
Okay, give me a couple.
I'll only read one. A computer once beat me at chess, but there was no match for me at kickboxing. Yeah, I'm only gonna butcher one up, but yeah, that's his humor, It's so funny.
Yeah.
So
very strange, man.
Yeah.
But personally, on a personal level, you sit there talking to him. I used to have great political discussions with him because he was on the right and I was on the left, and we would sit there and really have good, solid. And he was true conservative, none of this, MAGA bullshit. You know, this was a true, he was a true conservative and very intelligent. I just always sat around and, you know, went, wow, you know. What is it? Screen record this computer screen? No, I don't want to do this computer screen. Where did that come up from? God, I hate it when I get these mysterious messages from my computer. You know, the problem is having your equipment talk to you, right? And I get messages from my oven. I mean, literal email from my oven. So, you know, it says like, well, I get one every now and then that goes, I need to be cleaned. Well, very nice. Thank you for sending me that, you know.
I haven't got that one yet, but I got the refrigerator tells me he or she, or it, I don't know what,
Yeah.
but it needs a new filter.
Well, here's a question about the refrigerator. See, I understand the stove, because the stove is it's very convenient, because I cook something and I can see on my watch that it's cooking, you know, and that the oven is on or the oven is ready or whatever, that kind of thing, right? Or I can even change the temperature on it from my phone. So I can bring the temperature down, bring the temperature up, or whatever I want to do. Anyway, you get to do all those things with the stove. But a refrigerator Wi-Fi? What the hell do you do with a refrigerator Wi-Fi? Yeah, okay, take care of the filter.
Filter cartridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the temperature, yeah, you're not going to change the temperature.
And it keeps nagging you about replacing that filter cartridge because they want to sell you new filter cartridges, right?
And you can't just reset because it has something on there that knows if you've taken it off. So I think you have to take it off and put it on and then try to reset.
The red light on my refrigerator, the little red light went on. I tried to figure out, what is that for? And I went, oh, I bet that's the filter. It's telling me I need a new filter. So what if I go and I find the filter and I don't even know where it is in that goddamn thing? Okay, I'm gonna have to go to the instruction booklet and find out where it is. If I go in there and I pull it out and then I put it back in, is it going to reset itself? Or does it know that it needs a new filter? Or is it just telling me you need a new filter because it's been in there for X number of days?
I'll bet if you pulled it out and put it back in, it would reset it.
Yeah, but now I need to find out. I need to find out where it is.
Oh, okay.
Google that shit.
Huh?
That's right.
That's the answer to every question. Google that shit.
Yeah. In fact, I can't remember.
I say stuff when I tell Adrian.
Yeah, I can probably go online and say where on the. I can't remember what kind of refrigerator do I have? Maytag. I think it's a Maytag. It was the only one I could find that was wide enough to fit in my elevator.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Maytag. And just look up Maytag and tell me where the filter is, somebody. Quick. Maybe if you're in our chat room like John Redshaw. You know, Meet the Parents was first, says John Redshaw.
It's also asking about the red and blue networks.
What was the reason for the red and blue networks? Because they had two networks. That was it. And they called one the red network and one the blue network. And then when they decided, when the FCC said they had to divest themselves of one of them, NBC, the blue network, I think became NBC, and the red network became ABC. Okay. So, yeah. And KGO was, I think, the red network. It might be the other way around. Somebody look it up. Write me back. Here, come on. Do some good in that chat for a change, okay? Don't just sit there lurking. You know.
I know. See, Craven says that he loves emo, but then that we've never seen this person before. Call up.
Yeah.
And then Boddicker, but I don't know if Boddicker's drinking tonight or not. So I was going to tell him to call, but I don't know.
I thought the only
WHO Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Des Moines.
WHO is where Ronald Reagan worked as a sportscaster.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. What was the reason NBC had the American Biscuit Company? Yeah, okay. That's humorous. Anyway, so what else is happening in the news? So our president is allowing people who
And that's a big win, right?
got federally arrested for minor possession of marijuana to have their conviction vacated. Huh?
And that's a big win, I think.
Overturned.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Why
not so
did it
much.
take so long?
It's not so much a big win as it is an admission by this government that they've had these horrible laws for years for no reason at all. I mean, can you imagine marijuana still federally is as illegal as fentanyl, okay, or heroin, or any one of a number of other things. And quite frankly, I always found that ridiculous. It was funny, though, the first time I ever bought, you were always told that if you start on marijuana, next thing you know, you're going to be doing heroin. and I bought marijuana for the first time from this guy my wife knew, that Ronnie knew, and we bought it. And he was a hairdresser. Hairdressers always dealt pot, okay? And the next thing I know, he's asking me, "Do you want to buy some heroin?" And I, oh my God, it's true,
What did Slayton say after marijuana? They said the gateway drug, and they said all he wanted to do was make a sandwich and take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. The marijuana was made illegal by a guy by the name of my mind is so off tonight. I always used to know his name.
What was that, in the 30s that it became illegal?
Yeah. And there was a guy who, I'm trying to remember his name now, who fought to make it illegal. And the reason he did is so he'd have a job.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, why can't I remember that guy's name now? I used to be able to...
Why did it make sure he had a job?
Huh? Because what they did is they then formed a task force and a organization to go out and bust people for marijuana, and he was the head of it.
I got it.
Okay.
Made his own job.
Oh, here it is. Forbin just came up with Harry Anslinger was his name. Harry Anslinger. Anslinger, not Asslinger. No, but he did that all just for himself. And then on his deathbed, somebody said, did you feel that marijuana was dangerous? He said, I never felt it was dangerous. I just wanted a job. And I'm going, all the lives you made miserable, you horrible son of a bitch, rotten fucking hell, It was terrible. Yeah.
I would say it's time for you to die.
Yeah. So Harry J. Anslinger, thank you very much, Forbin Colossus. You've become of great use tonight. Okay? Thank you. Anyway, so I guess that's about it. I'll just start playing a theme song here. And there we go. Oh, there we go. There it is. I just heard it. There it is. Okay. Hey, listen, thank you. Have I been awake enough tonight?
Yeah.
I'm a little punchy, but I didn't get enough sleep last night. But
What else are we gonna do?
But I'm feeling much better these days since I stopped doing that drug. But I don't know how long I'm going to have to be able to go without it because it does me some good. Pregabalin. Jerry Lewis. Only 3 people called tonight. I don't appreciate that, folks. That's a rejection totally of what I do here. The show is slowly dwindling into nothing.
Thursday is the worst night.
Yeah, it always is, isn't it?
You ought to take Thursday off.
Yeah. Okay, and then maybe Wednesday, and Friday might be a good day to take off too. Anyway, Jeff, thank you, and thank you to Alan, and thank you, Brian. Appreciate it very much. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I will give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, folks. There's our citizen panel, and they're disappearing. Jack Bishop is next, by the way. He's going to be forming a new citizen panel. You might want to be part of it, and he does that on Skype at Gabnet Live, okay? Gabnet Live. Gabnetlive. So, Jack, have a good show. We'll see you all tomorrow for the final show of the week, right here 10:30, same time, same station. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Night, everybody.